Welcome to the Anomic show. Today we have a very honoured guest, Sri Azman Hashim, Chairman of the AmBank Group. Sri Azman, welcome to the show and it's great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
I looked at your background, it's unbelievable, right? You were 13, you had 13 siblings, sort of a family of 13 kids. You grew up in a pretty interesting environment and ultimately you became Chairman of the AmBank Group. For 30 years, you've grown this bank significantly. Talk us through your background a little bit. Tell us a bit about yourself.
That's a long story. But as you say, I think I come from a family of 13 children. My mother was a school teacher, Malay school teacher. Father was just a clerk. So it's in that sort of family, I think just enough to survive, I think. But my mother was a school teacher, so she prioritized education. So I think all she had, whatever money she had was for education. And that was great. That was the reason why I think my siblings also now, we do well because we focus on education. So as a result of that, we were able to, I was lucky to get a scholarship to go overseas because those days I tried to get a scholarship, state scholarship, federal scholarship, couldn't get it. I wanted to do, this is 1950s, nowadays I wanted to do, you only know about a doctor or a dentist or a lawyer, or teacher, that's about it for.
Yep.
So I wanted to be a doctor, I think. So couldn't get a scholarship. Architect also, I said okay, but couldn't get those things. So one day, the principal of the school that I was in, MBSKL, Mr. Mori, he passed by and he just passed me this form. He said, you apply for this, he says. I look at it, I said, oh. I look at it. It was a Colombo Plan scholarship from Australia, and the subject was chartered accountancy. So I applied for it, went for the interview. For the interview, I had to look at the encyclopedia, accountancy.
What is accounting?
Yeah. Anyway, I got it. I was probably the youngest then. I was 15, 16.
Wow, okay.
So that's how I got through.
So you became accountant?
Wow. By accident, but luckily it suited me, I think. Otherwise, I could have been an architect or doctor.
Okay.
I've still got architectural ideas. This building, for example, the design, all that is how it looks, ground floor, upstairs, all my idea until today. That was 30 years ago, 34 years ago.
So you're obviously interested in many things. You're a very curious person.
Yes,
you seem to be.
I do, as you can see from my room here, I do so many different things and makes life interesting.
Yep.
And also I have one characteristic, I think whatever I do, I like to excel. So in class, I like to excel. In sports, I like to excel. As best I could. In school, I was, because my classmates were all bigger than me, I was young, and but I still tried. So in some games, I just couldn't compete, but in some other games, I could. So whatever it is, I try my best. It's the culture of excellence.
Yep.
I think this is what I try to impart on staff also, or people in the group and so on. Culture of excellence.
I'm sure as you grew AmBank Group, right, and also in the many other ventures that you involve yourself in, right, that must have been key decision points in your life, key events. Talk us through some of it. What were some of the key decisions that defined your life to some extent?
I suppose the first one would be going overseas, taking that scholarship, but it was not difficult.
Okay.
Because.
But did that open your mind to the world?
Yeah. I think at that time I was looking forward to the going overseas, adventure, no nervousness at all, just adventure, fun, and it was. So, of course, Australia, I think, helped me a lot. If I was here totally, I could have been a different person in terms of my outlook. Australia, it's like New Zealand. It's no classes. Because and I went there, I could understand this very clearly. You couldn't disrespect anyone, which I do all my life. I don't really disrespect anyone.
You hold that same value today?
Yeah, because in Australia, and I was auditing the Fremantle port, for example. There was the accountant of port. He comes in to work in a small car, and there was the dock workers, big young fellas. They got brand new Holdens those days, and they earn more than their accountant because of labor, right? So that's why the class system is, there's no class. When you go to play, I play tennis in the tennis club and all that, there's no class thing. And so you can't show disrespect to anyone because Why? Why? Because the guys, even though he's a thing, he might be a worker, something, he earns more than you. So what's so big about you? So anyway, that is I think one good culture which I try to
inculcate back here.
Yeah, here. This is why in the group here, I don't like to see people throwing their weight around. I always dislike that. And people know it, and they're not going to get up in the ranks. You know? If they boss themselves, they're pushy, you know, they bully, they won't get up anywhere. So I try to promote that. So the idea of, you know, everybody, staff, I treat staff as my partners and friends. I don't like that.
Yep.
But that applies to senior people as well as
all the ranks.
Yeah,
all ranks.
yeah.
And were there, I mean, when you came back to Malaysia, right, as you started, you know, your journey of being an entrepreneur and starting up the bank and many other ventures that you started up, right, what were some big obstacles or highlights or, you know, events that helped shape who you became today and how you've managed this whole group?
Well, I think see, this is 1950s. I came back, and those days, the top priority for people is to work in the government service, because you have that's the best employer, permanent, all sorts of perks, you know. And I remember one beauty queen in the newspaper was quoted. She won the beauty queen contest. She says, "Who would you like to marry?" She's not talking about the tycoon, the Chinese. No, she says, "I want to marry a district officer." You see, this officer is a little district, but he's a king there. Government service. Businessmen were at the bottom.
Absolutely.
And those days, businessmen, you know, were very small people. I remember the top Malay businessman was just running a petrol station. You know. That was big. He was one of the top Malay. They said that if you are one of the businessmen, you actually cannot get a job. So that was
that's why you go to business, right?
No, but I was that a thinking initially. All the people around me, the community, and all that. So I wanted to go also practice in way, work in a chartered accounting firm first, you know. But the pressure and the environment was such that I worked Bank Negara. That was my first job. I was there for 4 years.
Okay. So you really started out in banking?
Bank Negara, yeah. So, well, central banking. 4 years. I did well there. But after 4 years, I thought, this is not for me. I think I was trained to do accounting practice, because I was chartered accountant. You actually, chartered accountancy, you work for 5 years. Your article, you don't go to university. You're working and you study at night. You have 2 weeks here, leave, that's all. But so you're working from the start. When I came back after 5 years, I'm already 5 years working experience. You know? So I wanted to do that. So I told that time the governor was Tony Smile. The first time I told him, when I first joined, the first year I joined, he was then deputy governor. First time I told him, I said I want to go do this. Where did I go? So I told him I want to go to join this Commonwealth Development Corporation. They got a spot for me there. They told me I can go back anytime. Okay, so he told the secretary, who's the man in charge? Mr. Fines, at that time British fellow. He said, yeah, you call Mr. Fines. So I was there, you know, called Mr. Fines. He said, oh, you want to get the Azman over my dead body? That was it. Anyway, 4 years later, I told him, I came again and said, look, I'm not joining anybody, I'm going to start my own thing. He still said, no, you go back and think about it. No, you could be a governor one day. I went back. Next morning, I came back and said, no, I made my mind. So after, but it was good. Then he actually, he always supported me and good words about me. You know?
So that's the start of your
That's the start. That was a big
fantastic
decision then, because you must remember, everybody thought I was crazy.
Yep.
The people around me, everybody thought I was crazy. Hey, you are in a good government job, steady. Why are you going out there? And this is the mindset.
Yep.
So that was the most difficult decision. And because I got my friends, my accounting friends also, they didn't do that. You see.
So
okay.
So we're going to take a quick short break right now. We'll be right back here for the second segment of the Anomic Show with Sri Azman Hashim. We'll be back shortly. Welcome to the Anomic Show. We've been talking to Tan Sri Azman Hashim. Very exciting, engaging conversation about your life, many years ago, and how you made that pivotal decision that changed your life, leaving Bank Negara and starting up your own business. I'm sure when you first started out, right, there were significant challenges, there were significant obstacles. I think all entrepreneurs go through this, right? When you first make the decision, I want to start my own business, and then suddenly reality hits you, right? What were some of those hard moments that you had to endure, as you look back on that time in the early days of setting up your business?
I don't know, when I decided to go into practice, I was not scared or nervous, I think I suppose I was very young, 20s, early 20s. So,
young and reckless, right?
Yeah, in a way, I think that's probably it. But I had it back in my mind, I'm a qualified chartered accountant. What's the worst that can happen to me? If I fail in my practice, I go back to work, for someone. I will survive, So that is not, so I always have that at the back of my mind. So not an issue, because those days chartered accountant very few. But at the beginning, I had to start very small. As I said, it was a three-man show. It's like 2-man, 1-woman show. Myself, the office boy, and the secretary. Secretary is my wife. But after 2 weeks, she gave up. She said, "I quit." You never employ your wife as a...
You had an employee retention issue at the start.
It's just like teaching a wife how to drive a car. I never do that. Whoa.
So lessons learned. Don't involve your
So that
wife
was
in
the
business.
beginning. And the beginning, those days, like today, I think these were entrepreneurs today probably are in a way much better off than those days. Because like me, Bumi, we have no access to borrowing. So where God? There's no banks those days.
Yeah, no AmBank to help them out.
You got British banks, you got Chinese banks. I went to a British bank. I want to borrow for my practice. They offered me 8,000 ringgit. 8,000 ringgit, 800, I'm not sure. Very small, nothing. So I had to depend on my work and the fees coming in, the cash flow. Initially, that was it. You just survive on that, And
so it's really manage your cash flow really well at the start.
You have to, because but it's very small staff, three of us at the beginning. So as the business grew, fees came in, then it's okay. In the end, we were about 100 people, I think. When I left for Formula banking, that's another big decision.
And why did you make that move to Maybank?
This is another big decision because leaving your practice is my own show, And actually, when I left that, I had to cut my income half. Maybank was paying me half. What happened was when I was in practice, Maybank got into trouble, serious trouble. I think they had a brand and everything. So Bank Negara, and I think Tun Ismail remembered me, put me on the board together with another 2 lawyers. Yong Pang Hao was a very famous lawyer who became then Chief Justice of Singapore after that. We came in to correct the position. So involved, senior management, huge losses. So we went in and then we nursed the bank until we grew well. So I was there as a director, was still practicing for about, I think 4 or 5 years. And then they offered me, the government also offered me to an executive position. You got the chairman, you got 2 executive directors. So I was offered one of them. So that was a big decision. I had to actually
give up everything.
Stop my practice.
You stopped your practice or you sold it out?
My partners continue,
okay.
But I completely left and joined the bank as an executive. And I was there for 10 years. And I think that was the time when Maybank really grew. We grew branches, hundreds of them. I built the sports complex, built a building now. I did the computer system, started credit cards. Those days credit cards were new. We were the ones. So a lot of pioneering things, 10 years. And when I was there, I was involved in setting up of the investment bank in AmBank Group, setting up the insurance companies and so on. So I had that experience.
Right.
So after 10 years, I was looking for opportunity to do something on my own again. And I did that firstly by going into the corporate sector. I bought a listed company. At the same time when I left the bank, I bought a listed company, Taiping Textile. It was all textiles, but I don't know anything about textile. I wanted a listed company.
And you just wanted a listed company? It's not the textile business?
No, it's a textile business.
Yeah, but you...
No, we ran it. We ran it for 20 years.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. And it's a very famous, I think New Zealand, it was one of our customers. And our brand, Thai Fab, is so famous. In New Zealand, we supply the cloth for the nurses, nurses uniforms, and all that. When they put out the tender, the form says Thai Fab standard, as a standard.
Right.
So we had a good thing going on for 20 years, and we supplied here all the police, armed forces, the material. We imported cotton, converted to yarn, and then put into and then we printed it. The whole
yards, yeah.
But of course, at the end, we couldn't compete with China. They just came in and they undercut the price so much. So we decided to stop the business.
Okay.
So anyway, that was going into the corporate sector. So at the same time, I went to Tycoon Textile. I got into opportunity to get into the Arab Malaysian Investment Bank at that time. So that was a start. From there, we built it into a conglomerate. Starting with the investment bank, then we bought into finance companies, insurance companies. The last bit was the commercial bank. It was bought from Bank of America.
Yeah.
By the way, all these, I never got a free license, They talk about boomy, and all this, getting all sorts of things.
You really have to work your way and earn
everything
every
bought in the
single
marketplace through my nose, market price. So
Wow.
in a way I can feel that, hey, I'm not obliged to anybody. I bought things in the marketplace.
So in this whole journey, right, I'm sure there's many leadership skills and competencies that you've developed. And if you were to give advice on leadership, right, what sort of advice would you give to especially the entrepreneurs, right, who are starting out, who are building businesses?
I don't know what
should
advice.
They be thinking of?
Anyway, I remember I was invited to speak at a Harvard alumni here dinner, on the subject of management and leadership. My opening sentence was, "I'm sorry, fellas, I didn't go to university. I never attended. I don't have MBA. I don't have any management gurus that I follow." I said, I manage by the seat of my pants. That's how I started for these Harvard fellas. So that's it. I didn't learn anything in the books about leadership or management. No.
And so it's really about learning it through doing, right? I mean, to trying and doing.
I think partly is your character, To me, leadership is everybody is a leader. If you're leading a group of people on anything, you're a leader.
And if you're a parent, you're a leader already.
Yeah, and you set an example. You have to set an example. So you have to be conscious of those things. And a leader is appointed by the peers. In other words, the peers must accept you. So I think some of the things that people accept me probably because, hey, this fellow is a nice fellow. He gets along with people. He looks very fair, He doesn't have any biases. He doesn't have any secret agenda. Some people, they promote themselves, right? They want to get in the position to promote themselves. So then these people then say, they won't last long.
Yeah.
So that's why I've been chairman of, the Institute of Bankers until today, 30 over years. The Investment Banking Association, 30 over years. So many others. Malaysia Japan Association, so many. So I'm still chairman because why? I think they just think that, hey, I've been fair, I've been all that, So you have to be accepted.
Yeah.
So that probably, if you say what is the quality, what are your strong points? I think no. I think it's
But I think you say very rightly. I mean, a great leader is a person that people can connect with. Is authentic. And I think fairness is very important, right? People can trust you. That there's a belief, and I think very interesting because you always have a vision.
I think the other one is that you respect people. I try to be humble also, So when people feel that they are treated equally, you're not looking down on them, I think they accept you.
Absolutely.
So I think humility is important, and fairness. So how you treat people, how you respect them. These are just human qualities. Sure. I think that's it. That's why some leaders, they're not qualified or anything, but they make a good leader.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, we're going to take another quick short break, and we'll be back for our third and final segment here on the Anomic Show with Sri Azman Hashim. Welcome back to the Anomic Show. We're talking to Tan Sri Azman Hashim, Chairman of AmBank Group. And Tan Sri, we've been having this engaging conversation about your life and the lessons you've learned, and it's been amazing just learning some of these lessons that you have. You know, every guest on our show, unfortunately, has to be subjected to the Thinkonomic challenge. This is a challenge where we grill you, we'll take a couple of random questions and we'll ask you, and then as fast as you can answer them, we try and get them up and running. So let me start this Thinkonomic challenge and you just answer them as fast as you can, right? Ready? 1, 2, go. What is the one big regret in life, and how would you change it if you could?
No regrets. I think, you know, in life you're expected to have ups and downs. As long as you have more ups and downs, you're okay, you know, on the balance. So I wouldn't change anything, and I think I don't have any big regrets. When I have some setback, I would look at it as a blessing in disguise. Because I failed, I didn't get it, it's because I'm meant for something better. And looking back sometimes, hey, it did happen, you know. So no big regrets.
Okay.
I think I'm really very lucky, very blessed. I thank God that I've come this far, and I've been helped along the way. You know, I'm very lucky indeed. So I'm blessed because of that. So no regret, no big regrets.
Okay.
I think it's all, any small thing will overcome by the good things that happen to me.
Fantastic. Name someone in your life you admire. What do you admire about them?
You know, I admire my wife. Of course, my wife.
You have to say that.
I can't go home.
On air, especially.
All right. Yeah, okay. But my mother, you know, because she's great. But the other person that I mean, most of us cannot forget is Atun Mahdi. I think he's a real great role model for all of us in Malaysia. Number one, I think, because he exemplifies many things. You know? For example, at 93, starting point as the new Prime Minister, 93. And you must remember, he retired 15 years ago. And in that 15 years, he did not stay still. He is a man who acquires knowledge, always interested, acquires knowledge, reads a lot, keeps up to date. 15 years retirement, most people would have, you know, done nothing. But he is probably done more than even before he retired, probably. But so now when he's Prime Minister, you notice he hits the ground running because he doesn't have to read up anything.
Yeah,
you know?
He's
he knows,
ready.
And nobody can bluff him. He knows what's going on.
Fabulous.
And he's a man of vision. And he's, you know, I really admire him in his strength of character. You know, you imagine he retired nicely 15 years ago, peacefully, decided to come back at the age of 90. Why? He has just to change the country because we were going down the drain. I think, and he's the man now, sole man that saved the country. If not for him, we are going down the drain, we'll be down the precipice. He saved us from that. Okay. The debts that come. So he's a role model for everything, learning, being interested in everything, healthy living, 93, and then not stopping too hard. Yeah. He says he's working harder now than before. I believe him because so much more problems, you know. Yeah. But because of him now, I think we can all look forward to a brighter future, and I hope he stays on as long as possible. Yeah.
Your time is up, but never mind. I'm gonna make sure we get you 1 or 2 more questions. So let's go for this one. What future development do you look forward to with most anticipation?
Well, you know, I'm already nearly 80 next year. So, and what to anticipate?
Well, now you can. Now you still.
No, exciting
if Mate is the standard, then we have.
Exciting thing is that things happen so fast nowadays and changes so fast in the digital space. So that's exciting. I always wonder what's going to be coming next. Yep. Whatever is happening today can change tomorrow. Same thing with banking. Even we have this, we have the destructive things coming on
with fintechs and everything.
Fintech. So it's, in a way, that's exciting because these things are happening. And we, as bankers, we may have to partner with all these people, you know, or do it ourselves to survive. So, and it's happened very fast. Whatever this digital is, very exciting. So this is the way for the future, I think, you know.
So you've survived the Thinkonomic challenge. So that's and we'll give you a set.
Did I survive?
You've passed the Thinkonomic challenge.
I think I'm a survivor too.
Absolutely.
You know, the 1997, 98 crisis. No? That was also a big crisis for me. and for most of us in the corporate world here in Malaysia, because we had the attack by the hedge funds and everybody else on our currency, stock market. Our bank shares came down from, was it 40 ringgit or 24 ringgit aside, down to $1.50. I almost died. But anyway, that was a time of really survival, and I think many of us got through it.
And what was the key to that survival? I mean, resilience and grit and just keep going on, or were there some secrets that...
There was no giving up. No, oh, by the way, that's the other quality of Tun Mahathir. Never give up. He tried to reform the government through the UMNO party, couldn't do it. Tried this, tried it. In the end, he even teamed up with his former enemies. Never give up. Same thing with business. You fail, but never give up. So at that time, I was not giving up. I was fighting. I mean, I never felt that we were going to fail. We only failed that year. 1 year we lost R1 billion. The only time we lost money actually in our total up to now. But next year we're okay again, right? So that was great.
Okay. And as you kind of, at this point in life, you're almost 80, and I guess now retirement age is 93, so we've got a long way to go for you. But as you start to look back at your life and you think about legacy, and you think about, how do you continue to, impart this legacy? I mean, what some thoughts you would, convey to us in terms of your legacy and in terms of thinking about that as you reach this stage in life?
Yeah, I guess, of course, the main thing was building up our banking group. 1982 was a small investment bank with 200 people. Now it's a conglomerate with commercial bank, insurance companies and all that, everything, with 11,000 people or so. So in the process, you also, not only you grew this organization, but in the process you employ a lot of people, you train them, many become good professionals, and many of my people stay with me a long time. But those who leave also, they become very important people elsewhere. So these are, I think, contribution. And of course, because we make a lot of profits, we pay billions of dollars in taxes. That's another help people don't realize. But also, I do a lot of work for the community, especially to start with the banking fraternity in terms of education. As I said, I was involved with the Institute of Bankers since the beginning, chairman for donkey's years, investment banking school, all that until today. So that is, I feel, my contribution to the banking industry to start with, also the community. Also now I start to do quite a bit of thing for education generally in terms of helping universities.
Yeah, like the new Sri Azman Business School.
Quite a few universities already, so I will keep doing that, But my own basic fundamental thing is that every day, my mind thinking is, hey, if I can just make somebody happy, happier, something better, that's enough. So my daily things like that. I make somebody happier, more cheerful, improve somebody's position. No, it's okay. I think that's what I do, and that keeps me happy.
If I were to close out with just one last question, if somebody is a young person, just graduated from university, and they're listening to this interview and they're saying, hey, I want to be like Sri Azman. I want my life to be like that, to build something meaningful, to make an impact in society, to create something that lasts so long. What sort of advice would you give these young fresh graduates who are coming out? What should they be thinking about?
Life is getting more competitive than during my time. Now you have to have much more knowledge. You have to acquire them and the skills because you got competition. You can't be expecting to improve yourself. You sit back, you think you got a degree is enough. No, a degree is only probably opening the door. You have to continue studying, you have to continue upskilling yourself. Everybody else doing it. So, and then you cannot be a millionaire overnight,
So
some graduate, they think they come out and graduate, they want to have a car, a house. Come on, man. When I come out, I'm a chartered accountant. I can only afford a third or fourth hand car with all ball tires and things like that. Can't afford a house yet. So, expectation, and you must think long term. You can't think short term. So when you think short term, you make shortcuts. Then you get into trouble. But the most important thing in the life is to guard your reputation, and that's important, because if you hurt your reputation early, that's it, you know. People don't trust you, they don't believe you. What do? So your reputation means what? You have to be honest, you have integrity, you work hard. You have to work hard. You can't get anywhere sitting back and not working, you know. A lot of young people today, I think, we used to depend, parents used to depend on the children to support them, you know. Now the children are depending on parents to support them. Don't need to work,
it's
relax.
a different world today.
Jadi mak rempit and all this. So the mindset got to change. That is why, you know, I'm always referring to Nam, because he asked us to look at Japan. Why? Japan work ethics is work very hard. They don't care, you know. They strive for excellence is there. If you watch the woman cleaning the toilet, Japanese, very shining already, she's still doing it. Why? As far as she's concerned, that's her job. She won't do her best. You look at the cleaning the shop window, the clean. I look at it and say, hey, come on, clean. He doesn't care. It's his shop window. He wants to be the cleanest in town. Everything is like that. Where is our mindset? Somebody sent me yesterday, my YouTube, baggage handlers, KLIA, 4 or 5 of them. That already. And if you got anything, I think they're broken. Japan.
Yeah, different sense
Same
of excellence.
Thing, uniform, hat, glove, few of them. They carry, pile up nicely. Just imagine that. See the ethics, the work ethics.
And it's all the things you talk about, like respect for people, work ethics,
That's right.
And hard work.
You want to strive for excellence, that cannot be excellent. Yeah. So if you, even in your entrepreneur, you must strive for excellence, because even more so, because you're an entrepreneur, you're competing with the next fellow. If you do very well, next fellow will start doing what you're doing, competition.
Absolutely.
It's so good now. Oh, there are many other competitors. You have to keep improving, keep striving for excellence, improve all the time. Striving for excellence is very important.
Tan Sri, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. We've been talking to Tan Sri Azman Hashim, the chairman of AmBank Group. And if you miss Tan Sri, you want to hear more of Tan Sri, on November 27th at the AmBank Biz Conference in Kuala Lumpur, he'll be speaking there. He'll be sharing more insights on leadership, entrepreneurship, and also how to become a successful person. See you soon.